Space Cadet Log Entry 20. While tuning up my spacecraft for another most dangerous ever assignment, I received a call from Taskmaster M. My mission? To save the galaxy from my arch rival, the Nemesis. I had my sights set on success, until I was in the sights of her heat ray!
Drat! Where'd that space cadet go? What the?
Oh, shoot!
Now, get out of my space!
Really? Why should I listen to you?
Because I
am your sister.
No!
You're in trouble now, Space Cadet. I'm telling!
Ah! I'm going down! Oh no! This monster's gonna eat me for
dinner! I may have burned it a little. What happened here?
Can someone say dinner?
Hello and welcome to Collaboratory, the show where Mike Morris improvises an animatic with a little help from our audience. And we learn about storyboarding along the way. This is an improv art stream which runs on audience suggestions. Mike, what kinds of prompts are we looking for from our audience today?
All right, standard Collaboratory, we're looking for three things. We are looking for some compelling characters, we are looking for a setting to place them in, and a interesting conflict. So bring us what you got.
Awesome. So if you're watching this live on Twitch or on YouTube, please enter your suggestions for characters, a setting, and a conflict in the chat, and whatever you type might just show up on screen. To give our viewers some inspiration, our most recent episode that aired in December was a spy thriller story with a twist ending, and I can't wait to see what our audience comes up with today.
Yeah, we've done a lot of different genres, haven't we?
We've done some really cool stuff. I think the highlight for me was that episode with the used car unicorn, but also was it the elf in space? That one was fun too. There are just so many different directions that the show can go in.
Well, when you have an open canvas like this, it really helps. And having an open canvas here in Storyboard Pro is also very helpful as well. You can go outside the margins and not have to worry about it.
While we wait for suggestions to come in, I just want to take a second to ask you, Mike, what went well for you in 2021?
Oh, not having to commute to work was pretty great. I do enjoy a 30-second commute from my bedroom to my office. So, I mean, if it's even 30 seconds, it's probably only like 10 or 15. So,
but you need a really short podcast for that commute.
You do. It's really, it's only several words long. It's basically, we are a podcast, and then you're to your office, so you can shut it down.
Yeah, you just get like one Squarespace ad and something about Casper mattresses.
Well, 2021, I think, and over the last couple of years, I feel like ever since this pandemic has been going on, I think there's a lot of opportunity to sort of focus on artistic stuff. And maybe, I don't know, sometimes I feel like maybe the inspiration well runs a little dry because you're not having as many like experiences, which is where a lot of really good art comes from, is just personal experience. But yeah, 2021. I mean, it's been productive.
Yeah, when I think of the past year, aside from the Collaboratory episode with the used car unicorn, I was really excited to have a chance to interview Jason Walling and Brandon Berger about the character rigs in America, the motion picture. And that interview's up on our blog if anyone wants to read it. They're both very forthcoming about the development process behind the rigs, their approach to character animation, and how they animated scenes that were really like crazy to do in 2D animation.
Yeah, I can imagine.
All right,
Those
we're getting
rigs did look
some.
really prolific, by the way.
Yeah, they're really impressive. So we're getting a few suggestions in the chat. One is a ninja trying to be a ninja. Second is a blind ninja that no one takes seriously, and somehow they're still successful. So that's kind of like a Zatoshi story, I think.
Well, we're using a streaming thing called VDO Ninja, so I mean that's pretty appropriate. Let's see what else we got. Though we got ninjas. What else we got? So maybe we can make one of those characters a ninja, and then we need somebody else to counterplay off of.
We got a suggestion for a snowman and a dog.
Snowman and a dog. So we have ninja, blind ninja, snowman, and dog. Okay, we need a setting still, and we need a conflict. What's going on between these guys? What kind of dog? That dog is a pretty nebulous thing. I mean, you could have like as small as a toy chihuahua or something like that, as big as a mastiff.
There's a big range in dog.
Or like one of those English hounds, the big ones.
So you're looking for more of the droopy style dog.
Droopy? Like, hello. That guy? Like, the...
Oh, now that you mention it, yeah. But I'm just thinking in terms of like an Old English hound, they tend to... gravity tends to affect them a lot.
I don't know if I've ever drawn Droopy. Can't say that I ever have. It's probably not a very good Droopy at all.
Okay, we've got some more suggestions coming in. We've got a Street Fighter. So maybe that is a character, or maybe that's a setting or conflict, sort of like...
like a Street Fighter tournament?
Ho, ho, ho. And another option is a cyberpunk kind of world.
Street Fighter tournament, cyberpunk world with snowman and dog versus ninja versus blind ninja.
So a lot of different directions that we're being pulled into. Another suggestion is Santa's Workshop as a reveal setting. So I guess we don't know that we're in Santa's Workshop, and then we are there.
In the dark underbelly of Santa's Workshop is cyberpunk.
Ooh, I like this.
Street fighting. It's all contained in Santa's snow globe because Santa really likes street fights.
Who will be the Christmas gift of the season?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm digging the cyberpunk Street Fighter. But yeah, let's just do it. Cyberpunk Street Fighter with Snowman Dog, or Dog and Snowman, and Blind Ninja. How about we do that? That sounds pretty cool.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so I think that, we have started a lot of these collaboratories with establishers, but I think what's a good play in this particular one is to start with a close-up, right? I think
media res.
The close-up is kind of where we need to start here. Turn up my brush size too. and let's give him like a really like messed up like cut thing over his eye. He has no real eyebrows because they were burned off years ago. But not from fire, from extreme cold.
That seems more Mortal Kombat than Street Fighter.
Well, there's a lot of those ninjas out there in Mortal Kombat.
True.
But we didn't say it was like technically a Street Fighter thing. We just, it's a street fight. So who knows? He could be Lin Kuei.
Below 1 degree.
Yeah. He's like, just below 0. And that's why this is a vendetta match against this snowman. Because he despises all things super cold.
There's the possibility this is just like the child of a ninja and a pirate, forbidden love sort of thing. And that's why there's the one eye.
Well, are they natural enemies? Are we going to...
I think so.
One Collaboratory will have to do like, I don't know, like Pirate Ninja West Side Story. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I would love to see a Pirate Ninja West Side Story. That would be great. Just a bunch of ninjas snapping.
And like every time they snap, they disappear and a log that shows up in their place. And by the end of the song, there's just a giant pile of wood.
That is all of the ninja tropes.
And they're just throwing stars everywhere, all over the place.
Scattered all about.
I'm probably doing that in the most inefficient way possible. Just realized.
Yeah, it looks really cool though. I like the little like rim light on the ninja.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have a little bit of something like that when you're doing something with like darker colors, because it helps to break up the space, right? So we have this guy, and we're just going to put him on the wrong in my actual character layer. In the background, we'll just have the some sort of simplistic background. So get my brushes back out. There we go. Just have it be...
Hey, Mike, we're getting some questions about shows that you've worked on. Do you want to just run through some of the projects that you've done?
Well, I started out on The Simpsons back when I got out of school in 2006. And then after that, I did a little bit of work as an intern on Princess and the Frog. And then from there, I went back to The Simpsons for a few more years. And then from there, I went to work on a show at Disney Television called Future Worm, which lasted for a little while. And then some development at Warner Brothers on Yabba Dabba Dinos. All of what we did got totally changed, but that's okay. Then I went on to the 2017 Ducktales, and then from there on to Fox's Housebroken, and now I work on Mulligan at Bento Box for Netflix.
Those are some really cool shows.
Thanks, man. All right, let's just give him a little bit of a angry squint, right? Just tilt down that a little bit so we have this.
And I also feel like Princess and the Frog is a movie that more people need to see. I love theatrical 2D animation.
Me too. And to Toon Boom's credit, that's what we were using to color everything with was Harmony. So there was actually a lot of animation done within Harmony on that movie. especially with some of the trickier shots. Like there's a gentleman, Mr. T. Dan Hofstede, who I was working with a little bit here and there at the time, and is a good friend. He was doing this one big shot with a bunch of the voodoo dolls banging on drums. It was like a long shot going through it, and that was all done in harmony. Okay, so here we go. We got that nice squint going on.
Oh, that works.
And then I think we need to get a shot where we see, I think we need to go a little bit wider on this guy and see like.
Yeah. So the ninja has like a very like realistic art style, very detailed. I feel like the snowman has to be like, for contrast, super cartoony.
Sure, we can do that. So what's a good weapon to give him?
Yeah,
because
chat,
always
we are
do
looking
like the
for.
ninja weapon.
Yeah, I feel like something on a chain is always kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that's fun too. But let's see what the chat comes up with, and we'll.
Yeah. So chat, what should our ninja wield?
Let's give that a little bit of a. Let's make
I
him
feel like hammers are a weapon you don't see ninjas use very often.
Oh, and good reason. They're big and they're heavy. Makes you slow.
Loud.
That's the kind of weapon for somebody who is fighting from a base of operation, right? So I think it'd be cool to give this background here a little bit of a treatment.
Okay, we've got some suggestions. We've got a carrot, which I think would be very on brand for fighting a snowman. You know, that I've taken this from one of your companions, and now I'll use it to end you. Another option is a lightning sword, which just sounds like a really cool thing to draw.
Well, we are in cyberpunk world after all.
Yeah, so a cyberpunk ninja would probably have a lightning sword.
Or at least some sort of electrical-based weapon. That sounds pretty cool, like a power katana or power ninja toe. So maybe we'll put a sword right here. Put swords. Give them multiples. And then we need a little bit of an arena of some kind, right? Maybe. Well, it is a street fight, so should it just be like some sort of like street area, like a little bit of Blade Runner-esque? And just have like people all around. Maybe there's some sort of building right here and some like very like.
Okay, we got a suggestion in the chat from Rebecca Kartsmark asking, how about a lightning carrot sword?
Lightning carrot sword. Now you're just going meta on it.
I don't know. This is coming from like Talented Mercury Filmworks, so I feel like that's a hard suggestion to pass up. All
right. For you, I will do it.
It's also a great source of vitamin A.
So we're going to need some people in the foreground here, and some other folks. With crowds, sometimes you just kind of have to get through it. Maybe there's like some sort of vehicle or something like that more people are up here on. Some people that are like sitting on some stuff up here.
Hey, you always have people cheering in the background, right?
Yeah. And then the city, because, cyberpunk stuff doesn't happen in the country. That's steampunk. Some of that happens in the country.
The idea of like a country cyberpunk sort of situation, right? Where you have the syndicates leaning on pumpkin farmers.
But how can it be developed enough? It needs to be developed.
You could have
Cyberpunk
like a bunch
happens
of robot
in-
tractors doing everything. It's true. You need to have like a gray cityscape for it to really work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation of the punks in the country, but I don't think it's a wildly huge occurrence. All right, so we also need a little bit of tone in here to help differentiate our characters and such. What was the name of the lady who wanted to do this electric carrot sword?
That would be Rebecca Cardsmark.
Rebecca Cardsmark. Okay, thank you for your suggestion, Rebecca.
Who I think I'll be interviewing in a couple weeks about her project with Mercury Filmworks, the
excellent.
3 shorts.
Really wonderful.
Cool stuff.
I look forward to seeing that. So I'll just fill that into, and then we'll just give our ninja friend here a little bit of a tone on top of that, so we can differentiate him from the crowd.
I love how just a little bit of tone can make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. Huge difference. Okay. I think also we need to introduce a challenger right here. And let's see. Get back to the brush we were using before. Got to make it bigger. No, I don't think we're going to do arms like that. We're going to make the arms kind of beefy.
Can I ask you for suggestions for design elements on the snowman?
Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. Let's give him some
like the sort of gnarled wooden hand. That's fun.
Okay, now that needs a little bit of tone as well. So keep the draw behind on, and let's pop some tone in there. Now, one trick to know is if you're going to do things in multiple tones, always do what's going to show up on top first, because it's always going to draw behind. Remember. So if I'm going to do this in a two-tone way, put some of this right here, some of that right there, like that, and then I can follow up with this other tone. Give it that. If my tones are a little off, I can always just use my color selector and just lighten it up a little bit. So there we go. And of course, we're going to add some fun little arrows to have this come in. Small indication. In. We can't really read that.
Mike, we got a question in the chat that I thought you might be interested in. How do you deal with fatigue, and what can you suggest to other boarders?
What kind of fatigue? Because there's physical fatigue, there's mental fatigue, there's creative fatigue. Which kind of fatigue are you referring to?
Speaking of physical fatigue, I've just been sitting on my leg and it has fallen asleep. So I'm just going to move around a little bit.
Okay, so I think what might be kind of fun here, actually.
Oh, we have some suggestions, actually. So for the snowman, one suggestion in the chat from VertMB is snowmen have buttons. What if this one had a zipper? And Rebecca is suggesting a really tiny head. Another suggestion, physical and mental fatigue. I think that is clarification on the question and not for the snowman. But it would be Also interesting if the snowman had both physical and mental fatigue.
Well, he's about to go into a fight, so I hope he's not physically fatigued.
Yeah.
All right, and let's see. Let's give him. This is a nice little upshot of Snowman. That bigger brush out here.
Oh, snowman looks really jolly.
And then I think a classic hat. Maybe a small nose, like one thick giant branch of an arm, and then one that's like thinner.
Oh yeah, a little bit of asymmetry.
And have him. Let's see. I think maybe he needs to have like some people behind him like this, and then some sort of lattice work of like construction or something that's torn down, or maybe some people like behind in the general background. Sometimes when I thumbnail, I end up doing everything all in the same layer and then splitting it up after the fact, which you can do. It's easy when you're working in vector. All these are people, and of course we have the people that are kind of a little higher on stuff, and we make a nice balanced composition that way. And then have maybe some elements of the background that are leading your eye toward this character. Maybe that's a little heavy-handed there. We'll tone this part of it back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's see. Let's split this up into multiple panels, and then we'll have we'll go to the character layer, and we will change our rotation point. What was it? The anchor point, right? Is that the official title of that name?
Anchor point, I think, is the official term.
Yeah. So another trick is
pivot point, maybe.
Another thing is to take your pivot point and move it in a direction that is appropriate for the perspective you're going for, and that sometimes will help just with scaling stuff easily. All right, and let's do a little bit of a shadow reveal. See him coming out of the shadows a little bit.
It's going from like silhouette to
Partially.
Yeah.
And steps in. And maybe there's some sort of like electronic voice, like
fight.
Prepare to die, like really happy. But I think also,
I get you. I was thinking more like "Welcome to your doom."
Yeah, just really sweet and happy. And I think maybe we need like a neck cracking, like that. Then we're gonna go back to this one, duplicate that layer, and have it go the other way now. Oops. But we need to put in our tones. So let's do this. We'll select by color, copy it. We're gonna go to the one that doesn't have it, paste it. We're pasting it on top, sure. But again, we're going to just select the color and copy and paste right back over. So now we're in the same spot again. We have saved the tone. Okay, then I'm gonna go back to this one again, and I'm gonna take that, put it at the end, and I think now he should have like just a reset of that motion, and then maybe we do something where like his head spins around in a whole 360.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Sounds really creepy.
So we can get rid of this stuff here, and have it just be like that. We're trying to draw behind off, and then put in like some spinning stuff, some multiples. One thing that you can do to sell multiples like this in an animatic is just a 2-frame cycle. You know, you just gather up some of these.
Yeah, I love smear frames and multiples. They're just fun things to see in animation, even though they tend to only show up for just a frame or two.
Well, they don't work if they're more than a frame or two.
Yeah.
Like those are impact drawings. They're meant to be felt, not to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
So we can let's just take this and we'll flop that and sort of put it in the same position. So we have like 2 drawings for that. Sometimes it's as simple as just, flopping some artwork here and there. Again, we're doing storyboards. This is pre-production for the final, and then the animators can figure out how to make that cycle really work well. But yeah, of course, also it's important when you're storyboarding to do your due diligence. You're setting the foundation of a show, and so you want to set up the strongest foundation that you possibly can, because everybody who follows up with the stuff that you've done, that is going to show up on screen. And so if you're not setting things up properly from the get-go, you're basically passing the buck on to somebody else who's going to have to fix it later on. So be conscious and cognizant of that when you're boarding. So I think it's working all right. So let's copy that. So copy, and then paste. Of course, we'll just shrink those down. If we were doing an animatic properly, we would, sit down and time this thing.
I feel like you've just created a new SCP.
A new what?
So there's this thing called the SCP Foundation, where it's like Wikipedia but for creepy things.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this is an extremely cursed character, and I am here for it.
Wasn't there like a fighting game in like the 90s or something like that? That one of them was a clay fighter, maybe?
Yeah, that was Clay Fighter, and I think one of the fighters was a snowman.
Yeah. So for those of you in the chat who want to go look up Clay Fighter and confirm our suspicions.
It's a weird game.
Okay, so we've got crack, spin, woof. And then I think even more so, what we're going to do after this is this head's going to explode. So, the head's going to explode. The hat's going to go flying off, of course. And another fun little trick also is you can just give like the body a little bit of something, just a little skew, and then dip it a bit, so we feel,
That's a really fun detail.
Well, little things often are just enough to sell the idea. You know, so sometimes you have to like fully draw it out and everything, but you know, sometimes you don't. And it's finding those spots where you don't that's going to save you a little bit of time and make sure that you're hitting your deadlines properly. So, and then the head's coming off. And then we're going to go back to this original one here because we've got the right body position there. We're going to put it at the end. And underneath this head is dog.
What sort of dog did you decide on?
Corgi.
Okay, yeah, that's a classic dog. Little dog big dog in a little dog's body.
In honor of my friend Pam, who's all about corgis. So maybe we'll put like some controls or something like that in his hands. There we go. And I think we just need like a little something like this. And we'll just tip this head up a little bit. Tilt and shift. It works pretty nicely when you can just shift some pieces around here and there. Woof. Go back to here. Duplicate. Pull over. And he's gonna do a little classic kung fu move. Well, I guess made popular by Bruce Lee. Anything else? He's gonna hold out his paw like this. Duplicate. And then he's gonna we need to put a silhouette there. Sometimes you need to zoom in to do that. Get that nice, skewing motion in there. Gonna have his arm past the joystick part.
Okay, I think I see a suggestion for a finisher move, which is unzip the corgi.
Unzip the corgi. Huh? Hey, could happen. All right, so sometimes sometimes it's pretty cool to have like a nice overhead shot for to sort of establish your geography here. You've got a crowd of people, you've got streets, and I think on the top we can do some really cool foreground elements. We'll beef up our brush fairly large and have like some sort of like beam work or some sort of techno looking thing to make it seem like it's kind of all around. You would do that in layers, and you can do like a 3D shot that would make things look really cool when you're zooming the camera in and out. We haven't really done that on the show because it does take time. But that is some cool stuff that you can do when you're working on a project. So we'll just do like generic crowd. It's just a bunch of people. And of course, given time, we could flesh this out and make it look super cool, but we just don't have that sort of time on the show, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do a special at some point where we go for a few more hours.
Yeah, it'd be fun also to revisit some of these too. This is a really good suggestion. So multiple corgis come flying out when it's unzipped. So the snowman could just be like a trench coat full of corgis.
It's like a corgi cannon.
Oh, love it. I think one really cool thing to do with fight scenes is to give the audience like a view of the layout, of the sense of space. Because if you don't, then things get really confusing. You don't really know what's happening.
Well, setting up geography visually is so important, because that is one of the quickest ways to lose an audience, right? Because if they see stuff that's not visually continuous, then they're like, wait, what's going on? And then you've lost the audience, and then you got to get them back. You don't ever want to lose the audience, because it's difficult to get them back. And you've lost some storytelling time with them because they're looking at the filmmaking, not looking at the film.
Yeah. And I think also being able to see like how the characters are acting and reacting to things around them is important.
Totally. All right, so we have this setup, and we can put like a little camera thing on it. A good little rotate, I think, sometimes can go pretty far. So a nice little drift like that, and let's even do a drift pull out, so we can have that, that sort of thing. And again, it'd be really cool if we could do like the 3D stuff and put that in there.
We are getting questions about like how you deal with like mental or creative fatigue. Was there anything that you wanted to give as maybe suggestions that might be helpful? I know you've suggested sometimes going outside is a helpful thing.
Going outside?
Yeah, experiencing nature, experiencing the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally good. I have a few suggestions that I try to do whenever I have mental fatigue, and I don't think it's any secret that I'm a tabletop gamer, and sometimes I focus that creativity there and just start writing stuff. You can always switch up your art a little bit, and I find that if I go into like drawing in VR or doing some writing or getting out some clay or something like that, just like mixing things up and giving yourself a little variety, I think that
gets you excited about making things again.
Huh?
Gets you excited about making things again, do something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Experiment.
It gets you excited about a lot of different things. Like lately I've been putting together some stuff that I've been 3D printing, and modifying some existing 3D models to make some cool stuff. If I may just indulge myself for a second.
Yeah.
Like, I've been printing this thing right here, and it's taken a while, but it's a creative endeavor that I enjoy. And
that is a huge print.
All credit. Oh yeah, it's a very big one. All credit goes to different artists who did the main groundwork, Miguel Zavala and some other various people that I've been kind of hodgepodging that model together with. But it's a fun endeavor that I like, that helps me recharge my batteries as far as creatively goes. And sometimes you'll just get streaks of inspiration. You just have to go with it. But another thing that I can say is, and I'm not the best at this, But just getting a good amount of rest. Sleep when you need to sleep, and don't push yourself over the limit, so where your brain isn't operating at its peak capacity.
Yeah, whenever I'm having trouble thinking, it's sort of like, hey, did I get enough sleep? Did I drink enough water? Did I not drink coffee today? Just the sort of basic checklist of what's going on.
Okay, so I don't like this shot so far. I don't think so. We have this up shot, we have this other thing, and I think we need. I think we also need an upshot for this ninja, but a little bit differently. I think we need something like this, where we're seeing him from underneath, and maybe reaching up behind him. And of course, again, this is going to be a derpy drawing, because these sort of shots do usually take a little bit longer to compose, and make it look appropriate.
It's sort of the drawing the sword sort of shing.
Yeah. And he's got this sash that comes down right here. And then we can make his arm a little bit bigger. Throw that way up. And again, this would go over a couple different layout passes. So, when you're drawing and you're trying to do tricky shots, like, just be patient with yourself, and you'll figure it out over time. I think a lot of us get this idea that I must be, I have ultimate perfection at all times, and that's just not going to ever be realistic. So, there are times where you just take your time and figure things out, and then once you've got it figured out, go forward. But give yourself a break, and that will help with mental fatigue.
Yeah, and if anyone else has any tips on dealing with mental fatigue, you can definitely share them in the chat. We can take a look. There's no one right or wrong answer. It's sort of whatever works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us your secrets. Tell us, things that help you. And I think that, that brings me to another thing. I feel like so many people labor under this idea that their problems are all unique to themselves. And that is also a huge fallacy as far as just life goes, right? And here we're going to do a little bit of a stretch multiple drawing. Drawing this sword. I'm just going to put that right there. So it's a very short period of time. And then he's going to have...
I know that a lot of people during 2020, 2021, now 2022, there's a feeling that you're sort of working all the time, and that can be fatiguing.
Sure. Well, I get that. Yeah, I totally get it. I think one of the things working from home is that you're never away from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just always there. And that's something that, I've freelanced from home a few times in my life, and there is that ever presence of work being there all the time.
Yeah, I've heard a few people recommend that egg timer method, where every time you sort of set it up, every time it rings, you get up and do something else for a little bit.
Sure. That sounds like a good plan. Getting a little bit of exercise too. I'm gonna take this here, and I'm just gonna move it to the side. Boosh. And then I'm gonna take this over here and move that to the side. Give a nice clean split, and then we can have like this little area in the middle, and then that's all going to be like electrified. Oh, another thing we need to do with this sword is it needs to have the like carrot greens.
Carrot top.
It's got to have the greens. So the carrot. I think, you know what? Sometimes you just need to dip into the color, and just for clarity's sake, you know. I know there's
What are we
yellow carrots
looking
and
at?
white
It's
carrots and
orange.
purple
It's a
carrots.
carrot.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
we're showing deference to the. Is it the King of Denmark? That's the reason we have orange carrots?
I don't know.
Or is that apocryphal?
I have no idea. That's the first I've ever heard of that. So I'm going to defer to you on that. Again, the chat can help us out and solve our problems for us, please. So I think maybe blue electricity in this case, I think might work a little bit better.
Get some complementary color going.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be like a yellow sort of electricity, but we got to make sure that it looks like it's got some electrical current going on. Okay. And then some small background elements. Even if you only have a little bit of background, you know, for a shot, every little bit helps because you still want to make sure that the audience knows where they are, that, you know where you are when it comes to boards. And you can always do like a map. Like if we go back to this one, we can have like a map on the side. And you can say, well, this guy starts here. This is position 1. Then he's going to dart over here to position 2. Camera is going to follow him here. So we see him like slash past the guy. And you can sort of use colors and different things to delineate all of that and plan out your animation or plan out your cinematography. And you absolutely should. It's going to save you a lot of headaches later. More planning in the beginning helps you execute all that much more efficiently on the back end.
So we have about 7 minutes left. Do you want to do a quick run through of the boards?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, close up on blind-eyed ninja. He squints ominously. Cut out to see that he is in a cyberpunk sort of situation. And, honestly, we could do a lot more with some of this stuff and make some really cool like cinematography given more time. But since we're just sort of, pushing through really fast, sometimes we're going to rely on a little bit more basic shots. All right, coming in is this beefy looking wooden arm with gnarled fingers. Stepping into the light is a snowman with a zipper. Crack of the neck. And then spin to the head, and then revealing Cyber Corgi, who unceremoniously barks. Says, "Bring it on, sucker." His body language. Then we go to this overhead shot, and we're hearing the fight music. Mike, give us some fight music.
Do.
Fight music, not elevator music. Come on.
I can only do music.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair enough. All right. And then, so the ninja responds by pulling out his carrot sword, which is electrified. And I think as one more parting thing for this board, we are going to have him dash off.
All right.
So I know that sometimes ninjas, it would be cool to have a sword trailing right here, but maybe we'll have him do this. See the sword trailing here, like he's about to
Strike.
Yeah. Actually, I don't need to draw it because I already have it drawn. So I'm just going to go back, a panel, snag all this good stuff here. Just good old fashioned paste it, rotate. The fight will begin.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for this amazing storyboard. Do you have any projects or topics you'd like to draw our audience's attention to?
Well, there will be more info coming in the future, but right now I'm in the middle of planning a portfolio review event. So as that materializes and more information comes forward, we'll be sure to let you know.
Yeah, well, the portfolio reviews are so important, so I'm really excited to see that. I would just like to briefly congratulate the artists at Titmouse's New York studio and joining the Animation Guild. Good job. And thank you to everyone who joined us for Collaboratory today. If you'd like to try your hand at storyboarding, you can download a 21-day trial of Storyboard Pro from our website at toonboom.com. Today, Mike Morris drew a ninja fighting a snowman. So just think about what kinds of stories you could tell in 3 weeks. And this Thursday on our live stream, we'll be speaking with Nico Coleo about his independent web series, Ollie and Scoops. If you're curious about starting your own series, you won't want to miss it. So be sure to tune in next time.
See you guys.